There are lots of aspects about the use of AI that are being discussed in the media at the moment, and one which interests me particularly is using AI to produce images. I used to use ChatGPT to produce illustrations for Milton-Keynesia magazine. Here are a few examples. I was told that doing this was taking work from real-life artists, and it was an artist that told me that. This is a common question raised about AI. Is it putting people out of work? At the time I was producing the magazine, I was actually more interested in the nuts and bolts of trying to get ChatGPT to produce something usable and getting the magazine published, rather than worrying about whether AI was putting people out of work. ChatGPT did produce some amazing stuff. However, it was often quite a slog to get it to a good end result. Here are a few examples of things I requested which did not turn out well and which made me laugh. I asked ChatGPT for a bat which did not look scary. However, I didn't say it should be knitted. This was a request for the elves in Santa's workshop. This seems to be the bicycle section, and I assume it is tea break time. Could you do a picture of a cinema at the time when smoking was still allowed, I said. I don't think ChatGPT can remember that. The last one is an historical one. The Stony Stratford stagecoach. I'm not sure where ChatGPT thought the passengers were going to sit, as it placed the horse in the stagecoach. I would often get so far with an image with ChatGPT and just give up and then tweak the final version myself using editing software. Maybe I was using the wrong AI, or maybe I am just inept at producing prompts. After the end of the magazine, I stopped using ChatGPT for a while, but came back to it recently, expecting it to be much better, as I keep hearing that AI is improving exponentially. So I set out to generate an image as a reminder of changing the clocks. The idea was for a robot to be changing the time on the clock at Station Square in Milton Keynes. I provided a picture of Station Square to ChatGPT and described the idea. The first attempt did not go particularly well. The robot was climbing up the wrong side of the ladder, and it had 3 arms. The scene was also very dark, despite me specifying that it was well lit by the moon. I was a bit surprised that I wasn't seeing a big improvement since the last time I'd used ChatGPT. I then had the idea of comparing what ChatGPT could produce with something done by a human artist. MK artist Chris Howard, aka Blonde Man, agreed to pick up the gauntlet on behalf of human artists. So here are the contestants ready to compete. ChatGPT, drawn by itself, and Chris Howard, pictured at his latest exhibition at the Creative Void in Wolverton. I wrote the prompt shown and sent it to ChatGPT and to Chris Howard with a photo of Station Square. As I did not like ChatGPT's robot, which it put in its previous attempt, I also included a photo of a robot. I then left Chris Howard to his own devices, but went through a series of revisions with ChatGPT. The top picture here is ChatGPT's first go, and it is good in that it has combined the 2 pictures I provided, and it sorted out a ladder. However, the moon does not need clock hands, the whole picture is too dark, the clock does not say 1 AM, and the robot is huge. I put these problems in as a prompt, and ChatGPT came back with the version shown at the bottom. This is a bit lighter, and the clock hands are gone from the moon, but the other 2 things have not changed. For the next version, which is at the top here, I asked ChatGPT to reduce the size of the robot by 1/3, which seemed to do the trick. However, no improvement on the clock saying 1 AM. I had another go. Unfortunately, this seemed to cause the removal of one of the robot's legs, which is shown in the bottom picture. Here is the final attempt, which went considerably downhill from the previous version, with 3 clock hands and a magic ladder which is not leaning against anything. On the plus side, however, the robot does have 2 legs and the whole image is lighter. I gave up with ChatGPT at this point. For comparison, here is what real-life artist Chris Howard produced, from the original prompt and photos, with no wrangling about the details from me. So what do you think? Do comment below the video if you have any opinions on the artistic merits of ChatGPT, or if you think that it's just a question of using the correct prompts. Also, do you have any opinions about ChatGPT putting artists out of work?